Welcome back to another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. I have Mac to my right, my name's TJ, and of course we're going to talk about the not guilty verdicts, and I say plural verdicts because I guess there was 5 charges they were trying to get him on, and he was found not guilty on all of them.
And one charge had been dismissed earlier in the case as well.
Yes. So, of course, that's the hot topic, and we're going to talk about it. And right off the bat, I can't, you think about, we don't know this guy, we don't know this kid, but I just feel so relieved and thankful that he wasn't found guilty of murder.
I just hope it's over.
And I'll tell you what kind of frustrates me with our society is I had a very casual conversation with a person I crossed paths with. I wouldn't necessarily call him a friend, but an acquaintance, a good acquaintance, okay? And I says, hey, did you hear about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdicts? And he goes, yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. And of course that really, I really had to fight from getting worked up,
Well, when someone says that, and I've had this similar conversation with someone recently, it gets to be a matter of their emotion. They wanted him to be guilty.
Well, I had to keep myself in check, and I said, well, what did he do? What was he guilty of? Well, he shouldn't have been there.
Is that a crime?
Well, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said, so you're going to charge the kid with murder because you think he shouldn't have been there? Which, by the way, it was later discovered that his dad lived in Kenosha.
Yeah.
So is he not ever see his
He
dad?
only lives about 10 minutes away, so it's right at Kenosha, and I'm not familiar with the layout of...
Well, they said 21 miles.
Yeah, so it's nothing. I mean, I go to the grocery store 21 miles. So
I drive to work 21 miles.
So that's nothing.
So the guy, well, I said, I'll grant you this. Perhaps he could have made a better decision, but what he did wasn't guilty of murder about anything, And speaking of the 5 charges regarding murder or attempted murder, 2 of the people involved, the prosecution, on purpose, intentionally, did not want to identify them or bring them to witness in the court because they themselves were criminals. Every party involved on the prosecution side was a criminal of some sort.
Yeah. And were they supposed to be there? Now, they're going to fall back on, I'm quite sure, because the person I talked to did. Well, they were there to protest. They weren't there to protest. Well, they say, who brings a gun to a protest? Well, they did.
Well, the one guy sure did, a Glock, and it appears he wasn't carrying it legally. Well, in Michigan, that's a felony.
We have our gift card giveaway contest. Maybe we should have the Rittenhouse challenge. For people who think it's no big deal to get hit in the head with a skateboard, they'll come out, you or I will take a skateboard, and blast them in the face with it and see if they think it's a big deal.
Well, in any event, I just wanted to touch on a couple people that we all know. Joy Reid, of course, she had to come out, saying how this was white supremacy.
How?
But her statement read, "This is what we expected to happen. I think we have to keep in mind when you're watching the criminal justice system at work that it was designed to do exactly what it did." And then she goes on to say, "This country was built on the idea of white men had a particular kind of freedom and a particular kind of citizenship that only they have. That gives from the slave catchers on, the right to inflict violence in the name of protecting property." So Joy
He was protecting himself, not property.
Against other white people, too.
Against other white people. The white supremacy thing it's becoming in one ear and out the other. I mean, it's said so often, like racism. It's said so often, it's just the boy who cried wolf.
I'm inclined to mention Jesse Jackson here. He was leading a protest in Chicago, and of course he was saying no more vigilante justice. And I'm not going to say that Jesse Jackson said this, but the crowd that he was leading on began to chant how they wanted a communist revolution.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Now I tried to read the article carefully, and it didn't say Jesse Jackson said it, but it said the crowd he was speaking to began to chant it.
Well, Jesse Jackson.
And you know what? It didn't say he condemned it.
It was someone. He was someone I had respect for many years ago until he became a charlatan.
And
now he's just a money swindler.
Of course, now they're back to tearing up Portland again. That was a given, regardless of however it played out. And then there was one more here.
Is that a city full of?
I can find it.
Children having temper tantrums, or am I wrong?
Who?
Portland.
Oh yeah, and Seattle. You know what? The Northwest.
Yeah.
You know.
Is there something in the water? Some kind of stupid juice, or what are they taking out there that think that tearing up anything does anything? Where's it gotten them this far?
They're in another world. That's all I know. Yeah. I wanted to reference an unidentified BLM activist. Either they didn't know his name or didn't want to say his name. Okay. He was being interviewed, and he ended it saying, "I'm going to really say what I think should happen." He goes, "I'm not really going to say what I think should happen to him because it's going to happen regardless." You know, you talk about a veiled threat.
Yeah.
That's a veiled threat right
Thinly
there.
veiled threat.
Veiled threat right there. You know, and I read that, and I thought, my gosh, this kid is going to need protection.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, as in perpetuity, as sometimes you say. You know, I just he's going to need protection for a long.
When are the decent people, and they're largely decent people in most of their life, going to stop defending scum like this guy? But you don't get your way, you're going to kill somebody. That's what he's saying.
Obviously, for whatever reason, they chose not to identify.
No accountability for Black Lives Matter or Antifa. There's no accountability. They can say anything.
Now, on the other side of the aisle, we'll say, not that I'm a fan of Dan Crenshaw, but he was pleased with the result. It said he was rightly found not guilty. Dan Crenshaw says he needs to sue the media.
I think so too. I said so in a previous video.
Dana Loesch says, "I hope Rittenhouse sues the ever-loving hell out of every media freak show that libeled, slandered, and defamed him."
Including that punk bitch.
Joy Reid?
No. That's
Behar?
No, not Behar. The Colin Kaepernick.
Let's see. Oh,
maybe he'll get what he's got coming.
And something we never really talked about, it was in the news, a Virginia police officer anonymously gave $25 to Rittenhouse's defense fund. He was doxxed. It was made known, and they fired him. And so now...
What was the cause for firing?
Because he donated to Kyle Rittenhouse's legal defense fund.
Could he have donated to Black Lives Matter and kept his job?
Well, I don't know, but...
I suspect so.
But he got... In any event, he got fired for it. Well, now he's saying, all right, guys, I want my job back, and I want compensation. So...
I hope he sues them blue, too.
Yeah, so, you know...
Can we find out who he is? Maybe we'll make a donation to him.
Well, do I have his name here?
We'll find it later, but
Bill Kelly, William Kelly, Virginia Police. That's all I know about him.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll look that up and see if we can't get donations to him.
You know, that's all I really got. It was going to be the hot topic, so of course we had to make it a segment. I can't help but think, you know, Tucker Carlson was saying, while they really wanted to see the kid rot in jail, it was really about disarming all of us.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
this was a scam, or a sham, I should say.
It was about disarming us. It was about stoking racial fears under the guise of under the guise of we will always be a racist nation, so we need to remake this nation.
Well, they want to get rid of the imagined white supremacy, and it is imagined. They want to get rid of that, and they want to replace it with black supremacy, which is real.
Well,
and they're fine with that.
You know, in any event, I'm not optimistic that this situation in general is going to get any better.
Well, I think it only goes away when more people stand up to these thugs and don't put up with them.
Yes.
And maybe make them assume room temperature. I don't know. I don't know.
I just, and you know what? I just lost my train of thought. Sorry about that, everyone. Gosh, what was I going to say?
Well, we're at 10:50, so I don't know if there's anyone watching, so it may not matter.
Sorry, everyone, for losing my train of thought. He went on his little snit, and I totally had a mind dump. All right, that's it. We'll wrap it for this one. And thanks, everyone. We're slowly making our way to 1,000, and we really appreciate everyone's support in this endeavor. So thanks a lot, everyone. And as always, we'll end with be safe. Watch your six, and don't tread on me.